Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline, and my question to you for today is, when do you remember Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood having died? Was it just the last few years maybe, or was it way back in 2003? This is an interesting one because a lot of people seem to remember just recently he having died, but apparently no, it was way back in 2003. And I got this post from somebody on Retconned, somebody named Caleb A.T. posted, Mr. Rogers has been dead since 2003. I'm so confused. He just died like 1 or 2 years ago. I remember all the people posting sad statuses on Facebook and everything. This marks the first time I've seen someone who I thought had died recently turn out to have been dead for far longer. Okay, so there's a fair number of people that also agree, although some people do remember him dying in 2003. One thing that's interesting is I looked this one up to see if there were any previous threads on it or anybody else commenting on it. And I looked and I found way back 3 years ago, somebody posted kind of the same thing. They said, oh, I just remember him dying recently, but yet he died in 2003. So it's the exact same story, but like 3 years ago? Okay, so then again, you get a bunch of people saying, yeah, I thought he died recently, and then a few people saying 2003. But this one comment here I found extra interesting. It was from 2 years ago. Luxphilia. Yes, the weird thing was I remember him hearing about his death around 2011 and thinking he had already died. So in 2011... that death was an ME for Luxphilia. I argued with my sister about it. I Googled it, and he hadn't actually died until that day, according to Google at that time. So now I Google it again, and it says he did die when I originally thought, 2003. So this is a flip-flop for Luxphilia. First, he had died in 2003 for her. Then he died in 2011 again, and so she was all freaked out, argued about it. But then Google supported that timeline that he had died in 2011. Well, now, 3 years ago, he had gone back to dying in 2003 again. So she says, this is extremely frightening to me because I remember all the hoopla, not just social media posts, but news articles, obits, etc. around his death when I was in college, which could be 2007 to 2012. And being so weirded out then because I knew he'd already died. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting one. It looks like that he's got different death times and different timelines. And it's also interesting because, as this original poster, Caleb A.T. said, this is a different kind of a trend now. It goes against the usual trend where people have lived longer. He actually died earlier now. So, is this a new thing that the Emmy is doing? We'll have to keep an eye on it. It might be another twist that the current timeline is giving us. Not a very welcome one, I might add, but we'll just have to see what happens. This is Eva, signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.